Hey everybody, just want to do a quick video of a little incident we had happen to us. We finally did have a flat tire. Hopefully you won't have that. This is the first one in 6 years that we've been RVing. We've been RVing full time for a little over 9 months, and it finally did happen. So we were traveling from one of our camp spots to the next destination, and the TPMS went off as we were getting ready to take a break. We were only about an hour away from our destination. So I looked at the tire, I didn't check the pressure. It had dropped probably 20 pounds, and it was the middle tire of the three on the driver's side. So I wasn't sure if I could trust the TPMS, so what I did is I swapped the TPMS sensors from one tire to the next, and it didn't. It followed the tire. So I thought, well, maybe the TPMS battery is going bad, but turns out the TPMS told me what was happening and I should have listened to it. And the reaction time I've learned on the TPMS that we have, it's a Gouda, and it has 12, I think it has 12 sensors. Um, it is slow. So it didn't register when I swapped the two TPMS sensors. The one that I put on the tire that was going flat did not register that it was going flat. So that's what made me think that maybe the battery was going bad. But so we pulled into our camp spot, and it wasn't until we were leaving about a week later that we noticed that the tire was flat. So here's a video of me changing the tire. Hope you get something out of this. Hope it helps you prepare for when you have a flat tire, because it will happen. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and give it a thumbs up.
So here I've gathered all my tools, laid out a mat so I don't get all dirty and grubby and grass all over me and be itchy for the 3-hour drive that we have to our next destination. Got my compressor out and my jack with the axle cradle, my 1/2 inch impact wrench from Harbor Freight, my impact sockets, and my torque adapters. So you can see the tire is pretty well flat. Didn't notice it until we were getting ready to leave. So have to go ahead and change that before we take off. Here I'm jacking up the one particular axle with my Harbor Freight 12-ton bottle jack with and I bought an axle cradle off of Amazon. Uh, Jacking it up and getting ready to take the tire off. Loosening up the lug nuts before I jack it up too high so that you can get the tire off pretty easily once we jack it up. The 1/2 inch impact wrench from Harbor Freight does an amazing job taking off these lug nuts. I did have trouble with one, um, but no worries. Just hit it a little bit harder and it did come off eventually. Once I got the tire off, I was able to inspect it, and I did notice that it looked like it had run over a bolt or something with a washer. It, yeah, left a pretty good hole. Didn't notice anything until we were actually getting ready to leave. So here you can see, it looks like it had a washer. That was the only hole we found, and pretty flat. The next order of business is to lower the spare and get that installed on the axle. I had a little trouble finding how to lower the spare. I did eventually find a place where I could put a socket and lower the spare. It's on a cable, just like on a lot of trucks. You lower it down. It took a lot of work with the ratchet. I do have a flexible adapter which I used to actually reinstall the tire once it was repaired. I do have to put the original tire back on, but that's something for another day. But it took a while with the ratchet, and the socket, but we did get it done. Here we're putting on the lug nuts. It's very important that you put the lug nuts on by hand before you put the impact wrench to it, because if you just stick them in the impact wrench and go to put them on, you might cross thread them, and then you've got a whole world of different problems you have to deal with. So put them on by hand, tighten them up snug if you can, and then hit them with the impact wrench and you'll be good. Always tighten them up in a star pattern. There's usually a sticker on the side of your trailer that will remind you of that, and that way you ensure it's tight against the hub and everything's good. So I do have some torque extensions from Harbor Freight. I believe Alliance is 110 to 120 pounds, pound-feet of torque. So I did use the 110, and then I used my manual torque wrench to tighten them up. So I've got it all dialed in and put the lug nut socket on, but didn't have enough clearance, so I had to put the extension on, and that gave me enough clearance to get beyond the rim. And because I didn't lower the jack down yet, the tire was spinning, so got a little ahead of myself there. Had to crawl back under, release the pressure from the hydraulic jack, the bottle jack, and put some pressure on the tire so that it wouldn't spin when I went to retorque it. Here I have help from my friend Larry. There were about 10 of us camping together, 10 trailers camping together at this one place in Delaware. So let's give this another go. Able to torque them to 110, and again, you want to torque them in the star pattern. I think I hit them again with the half-inch impact because I was having to torque them too much with the wrench, and just wanted to hit them one more time with the impact wrench and get them tightened up. Just another reminder, use the star pattern when you're tightening your lug nuts up. So I've got my handy dandy torque wrench out. Looking at the manual, this is one time you do want to consult the manual. For our 16-inch rim size, the acceptable torque range is 90 to 120 foot-pounds. So I set mine at 110 and then retorqued them with the manual torque wrench. Now that I've gotten them all tightened with the impact wrench, time to do it manually just to recheck everything and make sure we're good. Once everything's all tightened up, the next step is to make sure the tire has the proper pressure in it, and I always carry my air compressor with me. I had to buy a new one. My last one actually jumped off the back of my tailgate. I don't know why it did that, but I did buy a new one at Harbor Freight. It's a very quiet, very nice compressor. Wasn't that expensive. So here I'm just setting the tire pressure. 110 is what I run these guys at, and getting that filled up so we can pack everything up and hit the road.